Hi, Tom Luxon here again. The Two Gentlemen of Verona is very likely Shakespeare's earliest play, or at least the earliest one to survive. It may have been composed as early as 1589. We do not know when it was first performed. Shakespeare never published any of his plays, though he did publish several narrative poems and a sonnet sequence. So we cannot date most of the plays with precision. Two Gentlemen pivots on a then familiar discourse about the competing claims of a man's love for his friend versus the love he feels for a woman. In his essay on friendship, Michel de Montaigne put the matter like this: to compare this brotherly affection, love between male friends, with affection for women, it cannot be done, nor can we put the love of women in the same category. Its ardor, I confess, is more active, more scorching, and more intense, but it is an impetuous and fickle flame, a fever flame subject to fits and lulls. In friendship, it is a general and universal warmth, all gentleness and smoothness, with nothing bitter and stinging about it. Two Gentlemen presents Valentine and Proteus as classic friends. Valentine uses the familiar formula of a second self to describe their friendship. I knew him as myself, for from our infancy we have conversed and spent our hours together. As the play opens, these best friends are about to be separated. Valentine is off to Milan to see the wonders of the world, improve his education, and hunt for honor. Proteus refuses to go with his friend because he is in love with Julia and wishes to remain in Verona to pursue her. Valentine gently upbraids his friend with language that echoes Montaigne. To be in love where scorn is bought with groans, coy looks with heart-sore sighs, one fading moment's mirth with 20 watchful, weary, tedious nights. He proclaims Proteus a votary to fond desire, who abandons honorable friendship for the foolishness of romantic love. Once in Milan, Valentine, true to his name, but contrary to his original intentions, falls in love with Lady Sylvia and starts behaving like a young man in love, metamorphosed by his affection into a doting fool. Meanwhile, Proteus, forced by his father to follow Valentine to the Duke's court in Milan, is also true to his name. Proteus means changeable one. For he instantly falls in love with Sylvia and forgets his love for Julia, thus breaking faith both with his lifelong friend and his betrothed. Because he is also untrue to himself, Proteus calls this a threefold perjury. Both men regard themselves as metamorphosed by the power of female beauty into something less than manly, more like fools or even beasts. Like the Comedy of Errors, this play indulges in punning wordplay and banter between masters and their servants and mistresses and their maids. Shakespeare also takes advantage of the courtly love tradition of calling love suitors servants to their lady loves, thus confounding and confusing the discourses of lovers and servanthood. Proteus and Valentine find themselves transformed by love from noble gentlemen into scorned and abused servants. The play even rings punning changes on words like maid and mistress with comic, but also somewhat troubling effects. Indeed, there is much to find troubling in this play's rather pedestrian body humor and misogyny. Shakespeare's later works contain misogynist humor, but this early play displays some of the crudest sort. In Act 1, Julia says that maidens, when they say no, really want their suitors to hear yes. In the final scene, Proteus, finding Sylvia persistently true to Valentine and resistant to his advances, assaults her by saying, "I'll force thee yield to my desire." Valentine jumps out of the shadows to save Sylvia from rape. When Proteus promptly apologizes to Valentine for trying to rape his fiancée, Valentine not only forgives him, but restores him immediately to the status of friend. And following the classical notion that true friends share everything in common, he offers his betrothed to Proteus, saying, "All that was mine in Sylvia, I give thee." Valentine saves Sylvia from rape, and only a few moments later offers her as a friendship gift to her assailant. Many in Shakespeare's day found that funny. And of course, Julia, dressed as a page boy, witnesses all of this. Nevertheless, Valentine's closing lines suggest that Julia, once discovered to be a woman and not a page boy, will marry Proteus in a double wedding with him and Sylvia. We're to assume that Julia will agree. The play also contains several anti-Jew jokes and at least one sneer at black people. As you read, please beware of several inconsistencies in the play as it was published in the 1623 First Folio. Though Act 1, Scene 3 would have us believe Valentine is a guest at the emperor's court, he is later found to be a guest of the Duke of Milan, Sylvia's father. Also in Act 4, Sylvia agrees to meet Eglamour at Friar Patrick's cell, but in Act 5, the Duke refers to this friar as Friar Lawrence. There's every reason to believe that these are not Shakespeare's errors, but mistakes made by whoever prepared the play for publication long after his death.